It says we're live. Are we live? Let's just double check first before everything, because it's like we get like 5 into like topics and it's like boom. So
Hey,
hello.
we're live.
We're live. Okay, it doesn't tell me on the other one. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. We're live and we're doing blah 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 blah. We're live. I'm here with Jonny of geekgrid. Hello, Jonny.
Hello, how are we doing? There is a little bit of a delay on that YouTube video, so just mute
It
that.
it automatically does. Like, you could be like going live, it'll be like, oh, there's a bit of delay, but that's YouTube. So let's say hello to everyone in there. Lewis, Orville, Annette, Ben, hello,
Hey,
and
it's Annette and Ben.
your car,
Hey.
hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this lovely live stream where we're going to be talking about the cheeky where's the light? Look, Ben, look, there's lights there, and then there's my lights there. So I there we go. That's my nanos. They're beautiful. One you can touch and then you go ooh, and they actually interact. So Ben wants to get some nano leaf lights, but Annette says like she was 100% okay with it, and she said that if she says anything in here or has a go, then she said Ben could still get these like really cool lights. So
I think that everybody in the chat would appreciate Ben having nano leaf lights as well, wouldn't you?
I know, right? It's 100%. So I think that's and Annette's actually like said anything, but hasn't actually hasn't said anything about it. Just jumped into Kamen Rider and Master Rider. So okay, the main topic of this whole thing is: could Hasbro bring back Master Rider, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, and Mystic Knights because they bought all the assets for from Saban. So in theory and technically, they own that they could do whatever they wanted with it. So do you think, Jonny, that they will bring back any of these things, or do you think that they will bury them?
So, my personal opinion, I think that I've just completely forgotten what I was going to say. Mystic Knights, I think 100% is a no-go. It was fantastic. Love that show. But Hasbro isn't known for making its own stuff, so to speak, like live action. It isn't. It's a toy maker. It's a collectibles maker. And I'm sure that they will continue to use behind the scenes stuff, but I don't think that they will be making their own.
Now, because they make stuff with Allspark, and they've just bought E1 or something like that, which is a huge giant like animation studio. They do like stuff like Peppa Pig. Do you think that if, say, for example, they didn't touch it as a live action, that they could easily bring it in? Sorry, it's just a nest going like block language. But because do you think that they could do it in an animation form?
I mean, I think everybody has seen was it pilot or the test footage from the animated Power Rangers the other year?
Was that the one where they're in the in the work yard thing with yeah, that was done years and years and years ago.
What I'm going to do, for anyone in the chat that didn't see it, I'm going to see if I can dig up that footage for you to have a look at after you've obviously got finished with us. But yeah, so I mean, that did look really cool. I was really jealous when I found out it wasn't, not jealous, disappointed when I found out it wasn't going ahead.
Yeah, that was due to Toei saying, hell no, you're not allowed to do that. It's like, why, Toei? Why'd you destroy things? They sorry, go on.
Sorry, just quickly to Annette. The reason that you don't see my beautiful face blessing you is because I haven't managed to get a camera yet.
Yep. Yeah, he's been saving up for nano lights.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, no, that animated one was really cool, and like there was obviously that rumor the other month that like Bandai that we were going separate ways from Toei. So we were taking Power Rangers, we were taking our toys and taking them home.
Wait, hang on. We have to say rumor because people do not like it. They're like, So we just say take it with a grain of salt.
I did say rumor.
I just have to put it out there just a bit more.
But yeah, that rumor from the other week, if it turns out true or if it isn't, is a very cool rumor. I mean, it opens up a lot more. Like, we already see when you watch an episode of Power Rangers, and you see the producers and stuff not manage to match the scenes properly, or like they match them, but you can definitely tell there's a skip. You can tell there is a quality difference between the Power Rangers footage and the Sentai footage, which again recently is getting a lot better. So in that sense, going to a more animated way or taking a step away from the Toei link may well give them better options for some more accurate storytelling. Some more various options open to them.
I kind of think as soon as like if this deal goes through and they do the split, I reckon that Hasbro would just literally go after a while, be like, here is everything like we can explore. Because if you like look at Masked Rider, and even like Daniel, he mentions Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, that it was a good show. Now I've only seen a few little clips, but because you had that, they were allowed to do a show because they actually took everything off it. Like Toei was like, you're not doing Masked Rider again, blah blah blah. So it could mean that they could drop tons of stuff, and if they've got the properties, maybe the contract originally with Saban and Toei could have been, you have everything up to the show before Kamen Rider Saber, and be like, boom, like you can do anything you want before this, because the footage would still be good, but you can only go back so far before you have to start throwing money into it. And I think now with the market the way it is, if they do after Dino Fury, even after the next series, whichever one that they do, I feel like if they turn and say, we could make a darker series, we can make something more for the late teen adults, and then go, boom, here is Kamen Rider Wizard, here is Forze. I really want them to. I really wish they adapted Forze, because that was a great series. And I love it when I pronounce it wrong.
Dread Red Queen. That's pointed out something pretty useful earlier on, which I was going to totally steal, but I decided to give her credit. She mentioned that some of the older stuff will look dated. So they've got that very, very delicate balance there. It's like, and would they bring back Masked Rider VR Trooper? And it's like the footage that they have may well not be feasible. You saw in, I'm going to get the series wrong now, Go Buster, they brought in Gavin, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they have touched on the Metal Heroes arcs. And I think he was reasonably well taken. Like, they blended the story in well. They managed to make it their own, which again was a pretty good sign. So if this first season that they've had, so to speak, they've been testing the waters. Are people open to different heroes? Are they open to a shared universe to a certain extent? Like, could they turn Power Rangers into the next Arrowverse?
That is cool.
It's okay.
I think that if you did go down to the Arrowverse, because obviously you've got the Jonathan Entwistle, who is the director who did End of the Effing World, as well as I'm Not Okay With This or something like that. Now they're very darker things, because obviously if you go into Dino Fury, they could do a whole different thing and go, this was before Mighty Morphing, because there's been rumors and people saying like, hey, if we go back in time, so this is the prequel, this is before Mighty Morphing leading up, they could easily move into something like that and go, yeah, now we're setting up this own universe. Or they could continue on and say, this is set just after Beast Morphers, etc., etc. and then go, yeah, we started off with Beast Morphers, introducing Gavin into this, as well as, I mean, you also had Jiraiya in Ninja Steel as well. So you have all these things that are slowly building up, and now they could just go, do you know what? Let's make this Rangerverse. Let's turn around and go, hell yeah, we'll bring in the. I think it would be a bit harder. Like you'd have to start off with whatever one. So like you could say start off with Saber and then kind of work back with build, as in where Dread Red Queen says, "Oh, let's go. Let's do if they did Kamen Rider build." You also have Zen. What's the one with the clock? The one that had all the riders together and you went back in time. That's one that I have. I can't remember the name, but if you had that, is like you could slowly start building up. When what you're looking at, Go Buster was something like 9 years ago, 10 years ago now, where it was straight after Go Kaija, but then Hasbro put money into it because they wanted to start their own stuff and go, hey, let's do something new. They put money into that series, and so now it's like, hey, like we could do the same. Like you can do it with Mass Rider, say Black DX or whatever like that, but you could go back to say Forze, or you could go after for Wizard. Like the suits may not be that damaged for it, or just use the suits and build something differently. I mean, the way that I saw Kamen Rider back in the day is you'd have multiple people. Like, you wouldn't have like big rubber suits. You'd have people dressed up. So you could go down the whole route of the Arrowverse and be like, boom, there we go. Like, we've got people like Livewire, we've got Flash, we've got Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar, and stuff like that. So you've got quite a lot I think you could do with it.
100%. I mean, the one thing that the Arrowverse showed is that multiple shows can be ran simultaneously in a universe, overlap, have their stories interact and integrate without losing fans, without losing people's interest. And I think that was one of the things that has almost kept the Power Rangers back a little bit. Originally Saban were worried that changing the suits would cause too much of an issue. They tested Beetleborgs, they tested Kamen Rider, Master Rider, and to a certain extent, I genuinely think they only half-heartedly did that because they didn't want it to take away from Power Rangers and what it was.
I mean, like with a lot of stuff that has been over the time, like I think that because Power Rangers, when it first came out, was a huge success. So that when you try to bring other stuff in, like I remember them turning around going like, oh, Power Rangers is now on a break, but we've got a show like Power Rangers, VR Troopers, and dear God, like it was bad. Like back then, when you look back at it, you go, oh, I don't like it, but because it was that same sort of formula, I think that they wanted to kind of like bring in on it. But they did one thing which I goddamn hate, and that was talking animals. Jed the dog, and then you had Furbus as well. And I think back then, because like I hate puppets, like that sort of style, like the Turbo film where you had that horrible creature thing that was it Larico, yeah. And I goddamn hated that. But that was the sort of style that they went in. Mass Rider followed that, but it was a bit better in my eyes. Like Furbus has become a meme effectively.
I mean, they had Alpha as our kind of, our equivalent of the talking pet. The cute character that people are supposed to go, oh, isn't he? Bless. Each series of Power Rangers has had an element of that.
Yeah, I think with like the exception with Alpha, I think, is because he was there from the first. Like again, Power Rangers had never been like done, so you kind of incorporate it. But then if you look at like after. Was it after Turbo? After In Space, sorry, where they stopped using that sort of stuff, and it was just like, let's just have like a commander at the base, or let's have a princess that is going to turn around and help out and stuff like that. I think there was a kind of like shift of balance. Or you had Circuit as well, but then you could kind of like technically bring Circuit in and go, well, he's a computer, so and he's an owl, so it's okay.
He was a computer, but he had his own personality. It was supposed to be the cute talking animal.
Yeah.
Ninja Storm had the rat, not rat, guinea pig, hamster.
Yeah. But I think when you go into that sort of element, it depends on how you utilize stuff. So, as Ben says, like Ferbus is God, all hail Ferbus. But it was more kind of like those sorts of like things were the crazy elements. Like, what's Ferbus doing today? Well, he's got inside the pantry and he's eating all the food. Oh, Ferbus. Compared to Jed the dog, that was like, hey guys, gotta make sure that you've got a cowabunga out there. And you're like, God damn it, Jed. But there was like a balance. Like the Ninja Storm, like the Sensei Ninja Storm was more, how do I say, like he was more about that. Like, he was the one giving purpose. Like, there was a reason why he was a hamster or a gerbil, and then later on they had to bring him up. So I think that there is some elements where if you're serious, it's fine, but if you're if it's a comedy thing, it just, I think it doesn't like work that much within Power Rangers that much.
But you like Thundercats with its talking cats.
Snarf was a god. Snarf was a god. And when they got in the 2011 reboot, when they just made him say Snarf and didn't talk, and then in Thundercats Raw, where he is an abomination, that is different. Snarf is a value member of the team, and he was godlike. Snarf, snarf, Leno, snarf, snarf.
Yep, and that points out the fly from Geki Ranger and Jungle Fury. Oh, that was such an annoying character.
Yeah. Again, like, I think it's how it's written and how it's balanced is how you kind of perceive it. I think comedy doesn't work that much, but if you have a more serious thing, then it's fine. Annette's got to go to bed because she's got work in the morning. Thank you very much for joining, Annette. Thank you very much. You just started that. Oh God, Jonny, no.
They can't see me, can they?
No, but guess who they can see? Yeah. Okay. So going back to the main topic, so we've gone off thingy. So let's have a look back at the chat first, and let's see everything back, because there could be some very good points that we've done. So Lewis at the very beginning said, I do love Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, and Master Rider, and I would like Hasbro to give a go, with Mystic Knights being another mythology. I know what's probably that comment down there. Haha. Did another mythology: Greek, Roman, Norse, Indian, and other mythologies. Now I think that's a really good point, because if they did look into it, they could break out. Like, they could do it on multiple things, and then you could hit that diversity if it's done right. All I remember of Mystic Knights was they were in a field constantly, and it was just like, let's just throw stuff at this imaginary thing that's flying about, and that the camera guy is just probably just moving the camera around all the time, and it's just this group of people in armor just going like, we've got to defeat this, and it's been a long time since.
Pointing their weapons with the classic, but as long as they're not in the same shot as the monster, they can do what they want.
Yeah,
it's a shame on these streams we can't have clips of stuff popping up. It's like, here's a 10-second clip of
you can in the air. I can bring in clips, but I don't know how to do it with StreamYard yet. So that's the thing that I will learn, so I can actually bring them in and share screens and stuff like that.
But I do agree with what Lewis said there. Do you want to know what would be cool? And I think that Lewis would definitely be on board. Obviously they've brought out the Lightning collection for the Power Rangers figures. If they expanded it so that it was like a Lightning collection for Power Rangers, Mystic Knights, Beetleborgs, and all of that, so literally they had like a legacy arc, so to speak. They'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool, because I think you can start bringing this stuff into the Lightning collection. Call it something like Before the Storm or whatever. Like, it's all got to stick with lightning and stuff. But you can have the Thunder collection and stuff like that, and go into like more depth with these figures. Because if they own the rights, then people are going to buy it. You just don't make multiple ones of them.
So
make them to order.
The interesting one from this from the toys point of view, from the Power Rangers as a franchise for Hasbro, is that we as fans, we are here going, we want Hasbro to do this. We want them to do the best with this franchise because we want it to succeed. You know, we want them to invest in it so that they will get it to the pinnacle that it was in the 90s. But it doesn't even make up 5% of their revenue.
No.
Like, and it sounds, you know, the classic phrase of, you know, toy sales make a show. Like Hasbro, you know, they have Nerf, they have My Little Pony, they have a list of products. No, product is the wrong word. Like sections that are their money makers, so to speak. They even have it on their website. They break it down really well. So they have a couple of franchise that they're like, these are our big things. These are the things we turn up to our like business panels and our not franchisees and our stakeholders, and this is all of our money making. And like Power Rangers isn't even on their blinkers. They've kind of bought it and gone, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I think that kind of, because again, we're going off on that one. I think where you're looking at it is that they've seen how Power Rangers has been. They've seen the formula, and it's always, you know, a little bit of an intro. Then you have the thing that's going on today. This person's bad. You know, this person's good. This is what's happened. Monster comes down. Switch between Japanese footage. Do Megazord fights, and then kind of close it off and be like, hey, this is the, you know, the moral of the story, or, you know, you see the American footage. And when you look at how Power Rangers has been, and I think it started with Samurai, where Saban brought it back and was just like, what makes things better? Let's go straight for the Mighty Morphing. And they went back to the 93 days, you know, and fair enough, I could understand for the first season and the second season for Samurai, where it's like, cool, you want to bring this in, like you want to have it all back for like, you know, back in like the good old days. But then it didn't work because you had progression all the way through, even though you had stuff like with, say, like the Disney era, you saw a progression. But then obviously I think that also Bandai massively hit like with we're going to be cheap. So you want this really cool Red Ranger. He's a lot smaller and he's got hardly any paint. His weapons aren't painted, but it's $20. And then I think that was sort of the decline. And you could see it when they did with Super Mega Force, where you've seen the Go-Kaija keys. Like, hell, I've got one here, where you'd have that sort of size, which would be generally a good one. But then when you had the American one, it was like, say, that size. And it just didn't work. And you could see that they just didn't give a crap about stuff. And I think that was the downside. If you had good toys and a good series, then I think, boom, you know, have it, you know, they could have made a great thing.
Yeah, we've got Lewis. Yep, he agrees. The the Lightning collection for them would be insane. I mean, when you...
Bye, Ben. Sorry, I've only just seen this. Bye, Ben. Have fun.
But yeah, it's always like I almost want to go back and rewatch Mystic Knights just to see what it, because if I remember correctly, it was so cheesy, it was unreal.
They were just in a field.
Look, they had a forest at one point when they brought the Earth guy. I think the Earth below me or something. He had a mace.
They all had different ways. They had like a trident, sword, bow and arrow.
Can you work out what they said for their powers?
It'd be something like earth beneath me, wind around me, water run through me, fire around me. Let's combine Captain Planet.
I think you got two of them right. I want to say you got the earth one, and I want to say you got the air one.
Yeah.
I don't think you got the others right, though, especially not Captain Planet.
I know that one. So going back into the chat, let's have a look. So we got the Nanolites. Annette, even though she's not here now. I mean, to be fair, Kamen Rider footage, the most recent. Oh yeah, we've talked about that one. Mystic Knights was awesome. Beetle Bonders, Beetle Blast. So that's Annette's comment on the lovely Nano Leafs. Not sponsored, but I wish it was. I would plaster my entire room with nanolights if I could. I want the purple. I want purple. Ben mentioned I want purple Elvis Wizard. Hey, Flabber. I absolutely fucking hated Flabber. Well, kids, I'm gonna make sure this is great. Whoa, you've piped my organ, and it'd be like, oh no, we've got some people around. And I'm like, God damn it! It's just like, again, like you could see what they were going for, and Beetleborgs was great. I actually really liked Beetleborgs. It was a great show because it was so cool. I wonder if they knocked down that house. I wonder if it's still there or if it got knocked down. So basically, how I because there's quite a lot. We'll go back over the chat when I kind of go through it all. Masked Rider. Do you think that they could do Masked Rider now, and how do you think that they would go about it?
So as mentioned in the chat, they've obviously done Dragon Knight, which was all right. I mean, I couldn't help shake the fact it felt like a early 2000s Knight Rider. But I mean, like we mentioned earlier on, as we've seen with Beast Morphers and their inclusion of Gavin and the others, they have obviously tested the water for what they can do. And I think overall it's been a very popular choice. The way they rather than it just being a flash in the pan, like here's a character with no backstory, and now they're gone an episode later. He actually had there was nice writing around him. He had nice support for his entry, and he had nice support for his exit. So. I do think that with the right writing team, Kamen Rider could be done well. And to a certain extent, again, going back to the rumor that Toei and Hasbro are walking different ways, it could well be to do with them wanting more access to different heroes. Like if you put it, like if we go to it from a business point of view, they have had a beautiful relationship for 27 years. No issues there. And now suddenly there is an issue. That either means that someone's asked for more. It means that one of them has asked for more.
Well, I think it's maybe that could be a part of it, but I think when you look at it, is you have to stick to the Sentai lineup. You have to stick to what Toei says. So you've got a storyline. So say, for example, there was one more episode of Beast Morphers where something happened and they have to follow the story of what happened within Go Buster. So let's say, Zoe goes off and, she has to fight a monster, but then you can't include the others because it's solely her and there's no other footage. So the only thing you could have is, like, say, Devon and Ravi at the command center giving her like help and stuff, and it all focuses around her. But then they could have turned around and said, well, this suit's better for Ravi, or this suit's better from Devon, or we want Betty in this instead. But they have to follow a formula. I think that because if they break away from this now, they could turn around and say, right, cool, it's going to be, let's say it's going to be Zooja, because everyone wants the animal cube Zords thing, or you've got Tokuja, where you could then have your own sort of storyline and say, hey, we want it all about trains, we want it to be about this. But then if you have to follow the strict rules, then you can't do anything. But then you could look at it in a different light and go, okay, so the next series after Dino Fury is going to be Hyperforce. And then you've got stuff where you can get the original actors to come back in the suits, or you can follow it on and reuse all the assets that you've got. And I think that's the potential that Hasbro sees in this, but they're so stuck with Toei. So I think that's the reason why they've said no. And then it jumps into a whole new kind of ball game.
Definitely. There is always the bonus of being able to make their own intellectual property without having to go to an entirely external source
Mm.
for what they're doing. I mean, I think to a certain extent, Toei are aware that Power Rangers is bigger than Sentai. Like, it's just a given. It is. You look at how MMPR exploded. You know, I can guarantee 90% of the people that go to Power Morphicon, that goes to the Rangers at conventions, even if they had watched Sentai, I reckon they only watched it because Power Rangers led them that way.
Exactly.
And you saw the numbers for Sentai. The numbers for Sentai has been dropping over the last few years, with Kamen Rider definitely picking up a lot more popularity over in Japan.
Yeah.
And so they have more options for their intellectual property, being able to put other things under the banner without having to rely on the external people, like I was saying. But at the same time, they still have access to all of the years they've not used.
Yeah.
Power Rangers Railway Squad. Choo choo.
Choo choo. Power Rangers now become 18. Choo choo, motherfricker.
So I mean, to a certain extent, they, I imagine that they are still able to use the footage from the seasons they haven't used.
Yes, because I think it falls under one of the contracts. Like, a lot of people have turned around and also said about Suits, like they can't go back and use that. But then that's what was in the contract, so it would be it's certain clause in it. Like, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like you can use everything up to this, because then, like, if Toei wants to, if that wasn't in the clause, they could turn around and say, well, you can't use anything from Power Rangers, and therefore you have to create your own different, like, universe type thing, which would, you bought the name, but you can't use any of the products, which would then screw over. So it's something like a creative, not Creative Commons or something, but it's like a creative license that they just go, yep, that's fine, you're good to go, but nothing else after Rear Soldier.
Yeah, no. Which means they do still technically have Railway Squad. They have Die Ranger. Would be a cool one for them to go back and touch on. Daniel and Lewis, the only way we are getting Power Rangers Railway Squad or Rail Rescue is if the theme tune goes alongside the Thomas the Tank theme tune. Oh no, that's not Recess. That's Rugrats.
Yeah, we know the theme. Well, do you think that because it's so say we've got an animated series, do you think that we will see, like, all these sorts of properties slowly come back? So either in an anime-esque style, or the 3D thing that they do, which I think if they did wouldn't work well. I think it has to be like animated rather than like 3D.
So the 3D animations have never ever transitioned well. Like, do you remember way back in the day there was the But Ugly Martians?
Yeah,
that was like almost the first cartoon attempt at 3D, and that was bad. I think Reboot tried it as well, didn't they? Reboot went 3D for parts.
It was all 3D, but Reboot was done really, really well. It was. It wasn't the
Reboot.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but you knew exactly the sort of. It felt like, the best way I can describe it is: have you ever seen Ladybug and Cat Noir?
No.
The Miscellaneous Adventures of Ladybug and Cat Noir. Basically, when Beast Morphers was airing in the UK, that they'd have this really bad animated style, and it was like literally like you could see all these giant buildings, but everything felt empty.
Sorry, Daniel. Did you just say that Beast Wars was a horrible show?
Beast Wars was a good show. I enjoyed it. It's still, I think, one of the highest renowned animated things in it.
I'd probably definitely say top 10, but I mean, I don't know whether Beast Wars would come close to like the original animated X-Men, or the 90s Spider-Man. It was good though. But let's going back to the original question that you'd asked about would animation work? I think it would depend on a couple of factors. What the animation style is.
DC. That's the only style I could see it working in.
I will counter your offer of that with Avatar. That cartoon that has been animated and written so well that people like it has got the honorary status of anime. You know, it's like Mace Windu and Anakin. It's like you may have a seat on the council, but you do not have the rank of master. Avatar's the opposite. It's like you are on the council, and we wish you were a master.
The reason why I think of like we're talking like DC, like animated Batman sort of that sort of style, like the whole like noir type thing, like, you know, where you saw all the girls all look good, like the guys look good as well. I just generally really like that sort of style. And even on like stuff with the Teen Titans stuff, in the films where it's been like Teen Titans versus this versus that, where it's a decent like sort of like animated sort of style. Or even like the newer one, Poison Ivy and the Harley Quinn show.
That's the one where Harley's voiced by Kaylee Cuoco, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I've not actually seen that one.
It's a good show. It's a very good show. Kite Man didn't realize he was a thing. Oh my god, what a cool super villain. Has the power of a kite. That's it. It's good.
Yes, Beast Wars was a great Transformers show. Who was your favorite Beast Wars character, Lewis? What Chinese animated Power Rangers show remodeled the original Megazord?
I don't know, because I know the introduction of how Megazords were brought into Super Sentai. I know that one, but I don't know.
Spider-Man.
It was Leopold, which is a cool name. But I don't know the Chinese animated one. But so VR Troopers, what do you reckon about that? Do you think that they could make their own thing? Because, you know, if they're going to go into live action continuously, do you think that they could just reboot it? Because I don't think any Metal Heroes is still about.
So VR Troopers as a medium may well work, and it may well work well with what you mentioned a minute ago about the animated series. Like having it where they are in real life and then VR, because it's obviously virtual reality and it was in cyberspace, and then going into like an animated style.
Yeah.
You know, similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you've got parts of it real life and you've got parts of it cartoon, might be an interesting. I don't necessarily think it'd be good, but it'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. It wouldn't be the best. I would absolutely hate it if they did something like that, because A, it would cost a lot more, and B, you know that it'd be like, I'm going to punch you, and then the animated would be like, you'd be like, oh, damn it.
I think they following on for like carry on the question though. The early 90s and even the mid 90s was a very uneducated era, and bear with me with that. The phrase cyberspace, you know, the hackers, cybersecurity, no one knew anything about it. Like, you know, you saw on in films, it's like this 3.5-inch floppy in this computer will ruin the world. You know, you saw Reboot, where it's like we're going into cyberspace to a city. You know, you had VR Troopers, it's like we're fighting in the virtual world. They were all really cool story concepts, but they weren't realistic. There was nothing remotely plausible there, and I think
neither was. I was going to say neither was Power Rangers.
There is a difference between realistic and realism. They are three different things. Like if Power Rangers every single time was jumping into a comic book or into a random universe, and or they were having these fights down in Angel Grove, and gravity will, plausible deniability is a thing where you can watch it and you can enjoy it because it is realistic, but not because it is realism in work. We know it's not real. It's not. It's a TV show. However, being able to watch it and almost relate and almost see that side of it, I think that is where Power Rangers and that era of shows got its hype from, is the fact that the audience could watch it and it could feel like something, your friend, it could feel like something that you would experience apart from the Power Ranger fight scenes and the Zords.
Giant robots everywhere. Insurance companies love him.
Which isn't something that anyone could do in Mystic Knights. It isn't something that anyone could do with VR Troopers. There was that disjointed aspect to it that you couldn't relate to the characters, and I think that is where things fell apart.
So Lewis has said, so with the whole VR Troopers thing, what could work? Also, didn't VR Troopers appear in a recent Power Rangers comic? I don't think they have. I think there was a comic book years and years and years ago, but they've not appeared in Boom or anything like that.
They did have their own Marvel comic, though.
Probably, I think they did. But here's a question for you, and this is for everyone also who's watching and participating. Even if they brought all of these back, do you think that they would do well? As in, like, sell well? Because, everyone says, like, oh, I really love Masked Rider, oh, I really love this. But when you've got the main focus of Power Rangers, like, the toy sales have been down, viewership's been down. Do you think that they would survive? Or do you think it would have to be, like, you're in it for the long haul, or you just get one season?
Sorry, I was just double checking to see if I could find any comics for VR, just in case we were wrong on that one. I have not managed to find any, Lewis, so I do apologize. I tried. Right, so the question was it, do we think they'd survive a massive shift or a change in what they are? Yeah,
so basically, think about how people look at nostalgia. They go like, oh, I really want to see this. I really love VR Troopers. I love Masked Rider, blah, blah, blah. And they always say this. But then when like the company goes, oh, okay, that's really good. We've made this for you. That you don't get the viewership. The toys don't sell. Do you think, even look at Power Rangers as well. You've had down toy sales, like stuff still on the shelves compared to back in the day where you would pick up the toy and be like, oh, it's hard to find certain items. Do you think that Masked Rider, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, Mystic Knights, all of these shows would do well now, or that they would, people would go and like grab stuff off the shelf?
So nostalgia is a very... That's as far as I was getting with that sentence.
Very powerful thing.
Is both a powerful thing and a flimsy thing. So firstly, let's pick something that, we're going to go away from Power Rangers. What would you say is the biggest fandom in the world?
That is a big thing. I would say Doctor Who, because it's been around a lot longer. You could have...
Okay, we'll stick with Doctor Who for now then.
Okay.
So, the BBC are all like, we need to make some money from toy sales. We're going to tap into people's nostalgia and we're going to release all of the Doctors. And they bring out a brand new, amazing, literally the best figure you have ever had of every Doctor Who. Well, firstly, not everyone is a massive Doctor Who fan. Like, if you imagine like one in, let's be very generous. Let's say 5 out of 10 people like Doctor Who. Of those 5 people who are adults and with families, careers, etc., let's assume that 2 of them. So I'm still going to be at the nice 50% mark. 2 of them are willing to spend their money on the collectibles. So we've got 2 out of 10 people. So we've already got 80% of the potential audience not interested. Now, of those two people, some of them might not be interested. Some of them might not. Some might only want their favorite. The Power Rangers toys are having a similar outlook at the moment. Where people only want to buy Mmpr, only want to buy the specific ranger that they want because that's their favorite ranger.
Tommy.
So I personally don't think that Mass Rider, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, and Mystic Knights, or any of those old shows, would have the selling factor needed to get a toy line.
I agree.
And I've just noticed that Mystic Knights is spelt wrong on the the streamer thing.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
So in that sense, as much as again I was referring to earlier to the idea of like the Storm collection where they do all of the old franchises, I don't think they'd sell well, and it would be a waste. And you see it when you see all of the Yellow Rangers sitting on the shelf, or you see it when you go into the shop and you see all the My Little Ponies, and you've got like, I don't even know which one's the bad one. You've just got this one that no one wants just sat to one side. And that's the problem with nostalgia. It is super, super strong, but it is also very, very flimsy.
I'm sure Mystic Knights. I looked at it. I was like, it's exactly the same. I spelled Mystic Knights right.
Okay, the T was in the wrong place. It's updated now.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think it wouldn't have the same pulling power. I generally think that if this, and I think this is, Hasbro might need to do this in sort of way when it comes to toys, is make them to order. So the Figma run. So if anyone's not familiar with Figma, then basically what they do is they make a set amount and then that's it. But the way that you can do it is like if you pre-order them, then obviously the store goes, oh, we've got 10,000 people that want Tommy the Green Ranger, and they only make 10,000, and that's it. So you have some stuff that still stay in some on some stores, and they do that. Now I kind of think that if you applied this sort of measure with all of them, I think the one that will possibly sell the most would be Masked Rider, because people would want to recreate Masked Rider with the team from season 3 or season 2. I think then Mystic Knights wouldn't sell, but I think it would be one of those pieces that may sell like maybe let's say 1,000, 2,000 units, and that's it. VR Troopers, again, people would want that. Beetleborgs, I think, would be the second highest one. And stuff like that. That's what I kind of think would work a bit better. But yeah, I think Masked Rider would probably do well, but I do agree. I don't think it would sell in general. I think it would just be literally, well, we tried, we did one season, it's now under the rug, and you'll never see that show ever again. And the toys will always still stay on shelves because no one wants to buy Ryan Steele or whatever, the second Tommy.
Yeah, no, you're correct on that. Like, I would argue that Beetleborgs may well be slightly more popular than Masked Rider, but that's only because I think Beetleborgs had more episodes. Obviously, if they decided to bring out Phoebus figures, they would obviously sell out.
That would be Tommy from Mighty Morphing. It's all about Phoebus. That's it. That's all you get. Comes with a little Dex.
Comes with side character Masked Rider.
Yeah, it's all about the Phoebus show. That was all it was.
I do miss them. If they get the cast of VR Troopers, they should do a joke why he sounds like the Gold Ranger. They did a meta joke on that with Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. They had Cassidy and my days, I can't remember a character's name. She was 2 characters, wasn't she? One in each season. She to each other at the end, and it was like, oh, she's really pretty, and the other one was like, she's really pretty, and it's like, oh.
She is a very pretty actress. I really want to meet her, actually.
You should totally, I don't know, Morphicon?
Maybe if they're there, or Ranger Stop. So, okay. So all says if they get the cast of VR Troopers, they sorry, we've just talked about that. Sorry. I generally think like, oh no, that thought's gone. Like, I would love to.
While your thought's gone, I'll let you try and catch up on that. Daniel, that is a cool sounding series. Chinese Power Rangers with celestial warriors, animals that came on God.
I did hear about that one now. That has brought it back.
It sounds like, you know, when you go onto like the app Wish and you type in Megazord.
And then you just get some.
If any of you haven't done that, please look up what they have as options. Firstly, they look really good. But they are so knockoff, it is hilarious.
I'd be okay with some knockoff Megazords. It's falling apart within 5 minutes of taking out the box. Thank you, Wish. Okay, so going back up. So back to Daniel earlier said, like, I wish they made Kamen Rider double. Overall, like, Power Rangers are no strangers to time travel, like Wild Force. Like the Wild West Rangers in Mighty Morphing. Unpopular opinion, this is one, Annette. Unpopular opinion, I think Tommy is overrated and overdone. Don't get me wrong, White Ranger and Green Ranger arc was great. I like him as the Dino Thunder team, which is true. But we're not out of the age of Tommy for figures. Actually, no, we are almost out of the age of Tommy figures. Like, there's only 2 more, I think.
And then they'll bring out an entirely different set that also contain Tommy.
I'm waiting.
Would you like a Tommy 5 set?
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for them to see if anyone picks this up. Okay, so I'm waiting for Dino Thunder Black, which is one of my favorite Rangers, and then waiting for Turbo Tommy, and then waiting for Wild West Tommy. I am now waiting for Movie Tommy, and then I am waiting for Ninja Storm Green Tommy.
Ninja Storm Green Tommy?
Yep.
Why?
Because in I can't. Whoever worked at the ADR department over there needs to be like slapped. So do you remember?
They used his Hayat on one of the fights, don't we?
Yeah. So I'm waiting for Ninja Storm Green Tommy to come out. Okay.
These painted Red Ranger helmets. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, it was so.
We've got these helmets lying around. Let's get them painted, boys. So I imagine the prop guy worked, or like anyone at the office. Okay, so I think we're pretty much caught up.
So just for anyone that may have joined slightly late, the title "Could Hasbro Bring Back Mass Riders, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, and Mystic Knights" came to a resounding probably not.
We're still going to talk about it.
We're still talking about it, but you are now caught up with the gist of it, and we'll carry on talking. I was just giving people an up to date.
That's fine. That's
jumping
fine.
on point. There we go.
Yeah. Like, I would kind of really like it if they did bring it back. I would like them to adapt Kamen Rider. I think there's no, like with Power Rangers and stuff, there's no kind of like teen to adult show. And I think I've always seen Kamen Rider as the older one, where it's more like, we can kill a load of people and it's absolutely fine at like 7:30 in the morning over in Japan. But Power Rangers or Super Sentai, you have to give it a bit of kids gloves. So I've always seen as like the big brother, which is Kamen Rider.
So I think that so again, I'm going to go back to the discussion regarding the Arrowverse. Oh yeah, we also had Tommy's clone left in the past. He could have also been a Tommy figure. No. Going back, like
if they released him as a figure, he'd have to have the material shield, not the really cool shield.
But yeah, so like you mentioned, Power Rangers is very kids' gloves, and Kamen Rider does feel more like the teen, the teen angst of the shows. early 2000s, there was a TV show called Smallville, which, to be fair, a fantastic show. 10 seasons worth, really good to watch, even if you're not particularly a big comic book superhero fan. It was a nice teen drama that just happened to have powers related to it. It was really cool. Its popularity is what brought the Arrowverse out, which went a lot darker, had a lot more options to it. So I do feel like there is that space now where it's like they need to open up and make something for the adults or for the young, the late teens, early adult like aspects. Like you have Netflix where they're bringing out shows like The Order, which is witches and wizards, werewolves and stuff, and there's people dying, and it's really cool, well worth a watch. You've got Shadow Hunters, you've got DC's Arrowverse, you've got so many shows in that genre now that I think they are concerned about how to make an imprint, like how to get that audience, so to speak. Well, how would you get that audience?
Well, the thing is, that's why they've brought in these directors from these other Netflix shows. They want and even in the press release that Hasbro as well as these other people brought out, they turned around and said there is the side project and there's the non-Power Ranger Kids show, which I feel that when they get past Dino Fury, if they do go to Netflix or they do go to their streaming site, whatever they want to do, I think that's going to be more adult tone, because if you focus two things, so you could have Power Rangers continue on and stay as it is forever, and just reuse footage, go back and do whatever. But when you've got a unique storyline, I think what they'll do is they'll just turn around and say, this is for the adults. You can, we have a huge story arc, and I think it would follow suit of how the CW shows are, where you don't have a monster of the week, or you kind of do, but it's a lot different. And I think the show can mature a lot and be different. It goes down the Smallville route where, the Rangers are learning about their powers for the first time. And then you have the ultimate big bad at the end, which would be whichever series you want. I think that will happen very soon. And I think you'll see a lot more people, because Hasbro's way now is if they want to hit a mainstream audience, they need to bring in the people that, when you I think this was on the Illuminati when they mentioned this, it's when you turn around and you say to someone who doesn't know what Power Rangers is and go, hey, do you remember Power Rangers? They'll instantly, they don't think of Time Force, Wild Force, Dino Thunder. They generally think Mighty Morphin. Yeah, I remember. Didn't they have that green guy that came in, and the guy, the dinosaurs? And I think Hasbro will, that they're trying to do it with this adult thing where they put it on Netflix and say, hey, do you remember Power Rangers? Hey, Turco Kid, how are you doing? But when they see Power Rangers come in, I think that they're going to go all balls deep. I think that they're going to turn around and say, hey, let's make something darker than what we've seen. And it'll have two reactions. Either it will be loved, or dear God, people are going to hate it. I can't wait for that to happen when it's on Facebook and stuff like that. You ruined my childhood.
So just a slight point on that, on it, going slightly darker and seeing people going, you destroyed this, that, and the other. You've obviously got Power Rangers where it is still quite kid friendly, and when they do eventually step into, you've got biscuits. What type of biscuit is it? Oh, custard creams.
The best type of biscuit ever.
And I remember watching Gokaiger for the first time, and spoilers minorly. That point,
I think it's been 10 years, Johnny. It's fine. You can give spoilers. Gokaiger.
That point when he runs his sword through his foot, that literally made me go, "What? Holy I can't swear, but yeah, we're on YouTube. There could be kids in the audience.
As long as you don't turn around and swear repeatedly, I don't mind.
Okay.
Basic swears.
But yeah, so I think that I think if they are going to do anything like that, I think they're going to go the opposite way. I think they may well make Power Rangers a lot more childish, and then have a show that is aimed at the older audience, which I'll be gutted if they do that.
I'm waiting for them to make Power Rangers Go, and it's just like Teen Titans.
Moving
and
swiftly
just like
on from that, Tim McAndrew said, "What's Metal Heroes? The middle child." I like that analogy. Platinum Ranger. I'd love to see them bring back Masked Rider. Definitely. Which series would you like them to try and bring back? Is the question. Lewis agreed. He liked Smallville, and yes, it did hold up even with today's shows. It has actually aged fairly well. When will Hasbro have its own streaming service? Now, I personally don't think that they are big enough to do a streaming service.
Discovery.
Discovery
is the Hasbro bought one, so I will double check on that one. But yeah, like they own the streaming service Discovery or something like that.
Well, that's up for debate on whether that's going to be useful or not, since on April the 30th, 2009, Discovery announced a joint venture with Hasbro to relaunch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were ahead of that. They were ahead of their time back then.
But you've also got. Sorry, go on.
The reason that I don't think it will is quite simple. Like, how well is the DC universe doing their streaming service?
I think it's more of. I think when you sign your own streaming service, you have to put a lot of work into it, and I think a lot of these companies turn around and go, "Oh, hey, guess what? Like we've got all these really good shows, but why aren't people watching them?" And it's all about advertisement. Like when you turn around and say streaming, everyone turns around and goes Netflix, and that's it. For like anime and stuff, it's either Crunchyroll or Funimation. You know, no one goes like, "Oh, do you remember this?" Or like Hulu as well. Like, obviously, we don't get Hulu over here, but I know that like it wouldn't be the first thing. It would be Netflix that comes to mind straight away. You know, it's like Peppa Pig. When you think of Peppa Pig, think BBC, but that's now owned by Hasbro. The Peppa Pig, not BBC, but you know, it's that sort of thing. So I kind of think there's like it's more about advertisement. I mean, like look at like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon; they have their own streaming services, but no one really knows about them. You know, it's the same things like with CW when they go like, "Hey, check out the CW app so you can watch all your shows like Flash, Black Lightning, Arrow, and all that for free." But yeah, then they don't advertise it, like, you know, and it's not over here in the UK, so frick them.
Holy wow! Nickelodeon's had a streaming service since 2018.
Yeah, they all do, but it's never like done to light.
I think that the main thing people need to like. I think the main thing that companies need to do is not run before they can walk. So, you know, Disney took a very long time to bring out Disney Plus. Like they worked with the other streaming sites. They did a number of things, and they didn't turn around to the streaming sites and say, you know, we're taking all of our toys and we're going home.
They did.
Did they?
They took all of Disney stuff is off like Netflix. Bar like
the Disney section.
I'm sure they took everything off. Like they've taken all the superhero stuff off, bar like the stuff that Netflix paid for it. But effectively, Disney have like kind of pulled a lot of their stuff and said, you know, why watch it on Netflix when you can watch it on Disney Plus?
I retract my comment. I just popped onto my Netflix and typed in Disney. Oh, they took their toys and they went home.
Yeah. Hey guys, we've got this multi-billion platform, but you can watch A Little Mermaid on Netflix. Not us.
Yeah, no, they took their toys and they went home. And to be fair, like Disney can do that, but like my concern would be, and obviously it's not a concern for Disney, but may well be for Hasbro. Like Hasbro's Hasbro's shows, so to speak, are not massive. They're not world-dominatingly massive. And moving them all into their own little section, I think is cutting off more of an audience than it would be gaining.
Well, you've also got burnout from, I mean, think of how many different streaming platforms. So say, for example, Netflix is £5, Disney Plus is £5. Then you've got Discovery, turns out to be £5. And then you've got this, that's £5 or, $5, $10, whatever. And you have all of this. It just becomes fatigue. Like, if you can imagine, like, oh, let's go watch CW, but then I have to go and watch the CW app. All right, well, now I want to watch something on Disney. I have to go and watch Disney Plus. And you bounce back. Where Netflix had everything in one area, I think that if Hasbro turned around and was just like, hey, if you want to watch all our shows, Transformers, My Little Pony, Power Rangers, whatever, you then have to go, right, now I have to go watch it on Discovery Plus, and I can't be bothered paying for that, and it's a lot of money. I think that, if you take all your toys and put it onto one thing, I think people will get fatigued and just be like, I can't be bothered with this. And I think you'd lose a lot of money. But maybe, I mean, like, there was an app that had, like, there was for the anime industry, and that had every single, like, everyone together. So you had like Fun Animation, Crunchyroll, you had some other places, but then obviously they decided to take their toys out and be like, we're going to take this, but you could watch everything in one go. Now, if there was a subscription, let's say $20 or £20 a month, but you had access to Netflix, you had this, and it was just a click of a button, I think more people would go for that one than they would do like, right now I have like the 20 billionth streaming service, like around and stuff like that. I think that would be a better issue, but I don't see Hasbro doing that at all.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Daniel, Deadpool's still on Netflix.
That might be a deal because they were still owned by Fox back then.
I could see Hasbro making VR Troopers and Beetleborgs into Power Ranger teams, like Hasbro made GoBots into Transformers. That'd be pretty cool. Like, I can definitely get behind that. It's Morphin Time, and then they're like all armored up from Mystic Knights. That would be absolutely sick.
So, going back to something, because you moved on really, really quickly. What happens if Power Rangers went down the road of Teen Titans Go?
I'm just going through the audience comments at the moment.
Does Jonny not like Teen Titans Go?
HBO Teen Titans Go doesn't like Teen Titans Go.
I know, but it became so much better when they when they turned around and acknowledged it. Like, it was like, we've given up trying, so we'll just take the piss out of ourselves. And that was it. That's when it became very enjoyable. Like, the film is really good.
They did, it's Titans versus Titans, isn't it?
No, the one before that, when Robin wants his own film, and it's Slade as well. Like, it's because obviously, the Slade and Deadpool are both called Wade Wilson, so they refer to him as Deadpool, and he's like, I'm not that other one, I'm better. And it's so much things. So they're like, no, you're definitely Deadpool, and he gets really pissed off with it. It's an enjoyable film because Stan Lee's in it as well. Johnny's like, what have I missed all my life?
I don't know what to say. I thought that your opinion was good.
It is. Go see it. So Platinum Rangers
is a whole different ball game. It won't work for Power Rangers.
I was about to.
They tried to make it work for Thundercats.
Yeah, that the difference between Thundercats and Teen Titans Go, or Thundercats Raw, was the fact that Teen Titans, after a while, knew that they were a joke and they ran with it, and that's when it became more enjoyable. Where Thundercats Raw turned around to be vindictive and evil and really mean-spirited. I mean, I have who was the I don't know if anyone in the chat, or if you know, Jonny, who was the creator of DC? like who started all of this, or like a really popular writer that passed away at some point?
I mean, Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson was the original guy that started making DC Comics. He would arguably be like the biggest person you could think of for comics. I am such a nerd.
Well, okay, take this one instead. Say that, for example, Teen Titans, that the episode where they find out that they're a joke, and then later on they show like a really nice image of, well, they do in that episode, they show like what the Teen Titans were, and then all of a sudden in the corner of the room was Stan Lee's skeleton, and and they just literally didn't do anything about it, and they just kind of left it in there. It would cause a massive riot to people saying it's dishonest, and that's what Thundercats Raw did at the very end of the episode where they teamed up with Teen Titans Go. You had Snarf going to 2011 Lion-O going like, oh, I can't believe you're here too, and in the corner you could blatantly see the skeleton of Panthro. And there was like, what the hell? And it wasn't acknowledged. It wasn't something like, oh, what about you too, Panthro? It wasn't. It was just literally, there's the skeleton. So you're taking the obviously piss out of.
The voice actor for Panthro died, or?
Yeah, Earl Jones. He died a few years ago. So.
Earl Jones is in Darth Vader?
No. Is it Earl Jones? I'm sure it's Earl Jones. Panthro. Earl Hyman, sorry, not a thing. So Earl Hyman was the voice of the original Panthro, and yeah, he died. But then again, the people who made Thundercats Raw put his skeleton, and it wasn't subtle, like out the kind of like the ground. It was, he is in his costume, and it's just literally, you can see his weapons and stuff, and it was goddamn horrible. But yeah, again, I've never seen Teen Titans do that. And also they got the differences between the two shows is that the guys behind it got Larry Kenney, the original voice actor of Lion-O, to come out and say, hey, you guys are a great successor to Thundercats, but if you've got a different opinion to what we've got, then you've got you're a shithead, you speak shit words, you are a shit person, like us, like only us. And that was it. That was the whole thing where they got the original person, because they thought that if we got the original hero to say, hey, you must like us, and if you don't, you're shit. It's like my all-time hero turning around and then slapping me in the street going, fuck off, Mark. That sort of thing, where it'd be a very like slap to it. But yeah, again, with Teen Titans Go, there has never been anything like that, bar I think maybe one episode where it pissed people off. I can't remember, but that's the difference. Going on that tangent. So I think
Lewis approved of my Teen Titans Go, don't like Teen Titans. That's going to be a catchphrase for a bit. Yeah. Platinum Ranger, I do completely agree. The fact that Power Rangers is supposed to be teaching good values to children. I do think occasionally they missed a mark there, but for most of it, definitely, they've done a damn good job of that. Yep, Jack Kirby is literally the equivalent of Stan Lee. So like, as creators go, Thundercats Raw was definitely a terrible parody. And Orville wants to know if Erlim as Samurai Pink would win versus SPD Red Ranger. And I never want to imagine Erlim in a skin-tight skirt again.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'd rock that pink. I think that would be cool.
Unrelated note, I don't think that Samurai Pink would stand a chance against SPD Red.
We're not turning into that discussion at the moment.
Nope.
Not a versus match.
Just answering the question.
That's fine.
You've got biscuits.
I know.
Skirt and all. Mark, entertain the audience for 2 minutes. I'm going to get myself a biscuit.
So, biscuits. So going back to the main topic briefly before Jonny comes back. My Little Pony Life is Hasbro's version. I've never seen it. I have seen My Little Pony. but I wouldn't say. I would say they're like. Is it? I wouldn't say it's a version of like, say, Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go, because you can watch My Little Pony and actually be entertained.
Are you entertained by My Little Pony?
Would you rather watch My Little Pony or Teen Titans Go?
I've got paint drying.
Well, that's not the third option.
Honestly, My Little Pony.
It's not that bad of a show, but I mean, Teen Titans Go is okay, but it's not like I'm going to watch this right now. I'd rather watch something else, like 2 coats of paint drying. But you know, it goes. Adam is success to RJ as the Wolf Ranger. Yeah, I would love it if I became like the next Wolf Ranger, and RJ just comes over and goes like, "Man, I see you're so cool, Mark." I'm like, "No problem, RJ. Thanks for giving me that power."
Fight in the comments.
What?
We have got Daniel Kavanagh saying RPM is underrated, and then we have got Orvis saying RPM is overrated.
Boys, don't fight in the chat. You know,
what do you think, Mark?
I liked RPM. I feel that if Power Rangers ended, RPM should have been the place to do it, 100%, because you had that mystery, you had everything going on. They were going to wrap up the entire series about that, and then all of a sudden, like, then they bring out Samurai. And Daniel says like Beast Morphers was RPM 2.0. Now I don't believe it to some degree, because I believe it's its own thing. I would probably say at best that it was the canon or the main universe's version of RPM, but I do think it was separate because they didn't really go down the machine element, and you know. But that ending, that ending was beautiful. The whole, I don't know. I'm guessing everyone's seen it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone's still waiting. Has Beast Morphers finished in America?
In the UK.
No, it's finished in the UK. Finished like 6 months ago. But I'm sure everybody has seen it. I won't say it, but I'm sure everyone has seen the massive reveal, which was mind-blowing, which was absolutely 100% deserved. And I'm so glad they didn't go with a bad ending. I just really wanted Zoe and Nate to kiss. That was it. So, which Hasbro do you think Power Rangers will cross over within the comics? I reckon it will be Transformers next. I reckon, because they've done who have they done? They've
done Turtles.
DC. So I reckon it'll be Transformers soon.
More than likely Transformers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, there's so much that Hasbro have to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could cross over with Sesame Street.
Tommy, can you tell me what the word of the day is? CTR!
It's a giant bird! Hiya!
Yeah. Tommy, CTR is not the word, it's S. God damn it. I would love it if like Tommy just met Oscar the Grouch.
I mean, Hasbro is more known for its toy collection than everything else, isn't it? So like,
but I think obviously of like stuff like Transformers and stuff like that. That's the main thing with it. So it's you know about the films, about what's been going.
We were talking about Transformers crossing over Power Rangers the other day, like on a private call, weren't we? Transformer as a morpher just had me absolutely cracking up. Megatron, I am taking the power coin.
God damn it! So what we got here? We've got Jungle Fury and RPM are some of the Disney era's best work, despite budget cuts. Yep, it was all because of SPD that you had a lot of budget cuts and stuff like that, which I feel like was a huge kind of slap in the face, because they went majorly over budget with explosions and stuff like that. So they ate into It was like Mystic Force and the
Mystic
rest of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lewis goes, I would love an Avengers Power Ranger crossover. I think that'd be really cool. I would love to see Billy.
They could fight Thanos.
Oh, God. I would love that. I would love to see that, especially if it was just Dino Thunder. That's it. That's it. No other Power Ranger series. Just Dino Thunder versus Thanos. All full powered. We're talking savage Thanos, the one that will literally look at you and you would just die, and he'd have the Infinity Gauntlet, and he would take the Dino Gems and destroy them, or turn them into new Infinity Stones and be like, "Oh no, I've got your powers." And then Tommy just taking a seat.
Let's swiftly carry on from that. That was from a previous stream.
Yeah. Steel turning human made me cry. That was a very good moment. Although I didn't like the actor, I didn't think suited Steel. But it was a very good thing. But you kind of saw it coming straight away. Power Rangers Transformers.
I was about to say, yeah. Unfortunately, they have already done that arc with Overdrive Red, so it was a little bit on the predictable side. But yeah, it was a sweet moment anyway.
Yeah. Power Rangers and Transformers crossover would rock so much. I think it would be cool. I'd love to see Optimus Prime fight a Megazord. I think it'd be so cool.
I think that what would happen, at least towards the end, the Megazord would end up being like battle armor for Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime there with like I'll go with the original Megazord because that's probably what they'd toy up with, with the freaking Mastodon M's over his shoulders and the Dragonzord shield over the front of his cockpit. It's just like that would be insane.
It'd be quite cool. I would quite like that, and I can see it like using like the tail as a whip, and then you've got the sword as a whip, and then you've got the Tyrannosaurus tail as like dual-handed wield sword thing. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Power Rangers and G.I. Joe. I'm not gonna lie, G.I. Joe didn't really make it over to the UK very well. I don't know.
It was a kind of different time. Like it was still popular, but I think like from when I was about, like I knew about it, but it was more Thundercats and He-Man that was more kind of focused than G.I. Joe. But can you imagine
the new Dino Fury Megazord toy?
I've not seen any renders of the new one. I've only seen that one, but there's someone going to be on Facebook that has probably like posted up in some of the groups.
Snake Eyes kind of looks like the Phantom Ranger. He does a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure it will pop up somewhere. Okay, so My Little Pony. I think that would be kind of a good one. To be fair, like I can imagine that the Rangers go into that world and be like, "Oh my god, we're ponies now," and then Tommy would be a dragon. Obviously.
I mean, we've already got the pink My Little Pony Power Ranger.
Yeah, so it was bound to happen. Snake Eyes kind of looks like Phantom Ranger. I would kind of agree with that one. G.I. Joe Power Ranger crossover would be awesome. Action Man. Oh, Action Man. I've not heard that name in such a long time. So,
I mean, if you think about it from a Hasbro Toys point of view, like you could literally have like Power Rangers Stretch Armstrong.
Oh yeah.
Nerf weaponry, like based on their weapons, would be kind of cool. Like the combine them all, and you've got a massive Nerf gun.
Well, they've already done a few Nerf things already, or with it too. So they did the Cheetah Blaster from Beast Morphers, and then the bow as well.
That Cheetah Blaster made no sense.
Toys. That's all it was. Sell toys.
Like, here's this really strong blaster. What are you going to use it for? Oh, I fire it in my cockpit every single fight.
Yeah. I have to use this as the ultimate attack, but we can't use this on normal monsters. It has to be in Megazord form only. Dogs turn into dragons if they're going into My Little Pony. Possibly see that. I haven't seen My Little Pony for a long time, so I know they did the Equestria Girls and that was pretty cool. Now I'm trying to think of like, what series do you think that they would kind of do that's been very underrated, like kind of like a continuation or something like that?
Story continuation. So for a continuation, you've got to think of a series that you feel wasn't complete at the end, like that had more of a story to tell.
I don't know. It was just something that popped into my head. I was like,
So,
it's.
I mean, what I would like to I think that Operation Overdrive should get a continuation.
I think that concluded though.
They had five villains, three villains. They had multiple villains. It was a really nice dynamic. Don't get me wrong, the series was awful because the Sentai wasn't the greatest. And I think that at least taking the elements from that series may well have. Power Rangers Great Battle Force would have been a lot better than Beast Morphers. Yes, the name Beast Morphers doesn't seem to make much sense, apart from the fact that they have Beast DNA, which doesn't really come into the series much at all.
Bar the suits and the Zords. Ninja Storm. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Ninja Storm, I think, would be a very good continuation because in the intro, where it says like they train to defend the Earth and stuff, would you think they'd be still going now, or do you think they would have shut down everything, like the Wind Academy and the Thunder Academy? Do you think they would have shut that all down and gone, next season's gonna is gonna pick it up?
Well, you saw in Dino Thunder, the academies the Wind Academy was still there.
Yeah, but do you think after Dino Thunder that they would have kept going? Because you think that if with all the threats of Earth, where are they? You'd think you'd have ninjas kind of helping the Rangers out at times.
Maybe they do. You just don't see them because they're ninjas.
Is that what the sparks are? So when the Rangers fire the weapons, the beams just fizzle, and it's just actually ninjas zooming in straight away and going boom.
Yeah. No.
Cool.
I mean, you have that for every season, don't you? It's like, well, why didn't the last season help at this situation? Why didn't the season before them help in that? Why in this fight that's really important haven't they just asked their mates for help? When you see the Red Ranger going to battle, he's like, I need to do this alone, and he gets absolutely butt whipped. He's there, he's demorphed. He's like, oh, I don't know if I can go on with this. It's like, you could use your battleizer. You could use your other weapon. You could ask your friend for help. Why aren't you doing any of that? And it's like, no, story plots.
Yeah. Where is Tommy? He seems to know freaking everything. Why isn't he here right now? God, he's just at home.
In the Ninja Steel crossover, why didn't they ask for more Rangers to help?
Because we want to take them down at our own time.
Tommy and Kat obviously know all of the Rangers from the Zordon era. Why didn't Tommy just go, hey, I've now got Master Morpher technology. Here's a Morpher for each of you. Let's go.
You can basically do what Super Megaforce does right now. So Platinum Ranger says Ninja Storm was underrated. It was like a breath of fresh air. It had such a different and unique feel to the past seasons. I kind of agree on that one. I think because you love Ninja Storm, don't you?
Maybe.
If you're unsure about Johnny's maybe, it means yes, he absolutely adores Ninja Storm to a T.
Yeah, it is my favorite collectible that I've got is my black and gold Ninja Storm Megazords. Yes, it is my favorite series. And the fact that it was the Green Samurai Ranger and they didn't even remotely hint or link that with the Samurai Rangers was just a travesty. It's like, but it shows a bit that Saban really didn't care.
Yeah, pretty much it was Disney that would have done that one. It wouldn't have been.
Oh, sorry, Disney, because Saban got it back at a different point, didn't they?
Yeah. They got it after RPM. He bought it back and then made Samurai.
Yeah, they bought it back and got it back at Samurai. So it was Hasbro. No, it was. I thought RPM was the last Disney series.
Yeah, and then that's when Samurai.
Samurai, which was Hasbro. So I go back
No,
to
it was
Hasbro.
Saban.
Saban. So I'll repeat myself. Saban didn't give a shit.
Yeah, we all knew this. So as soon as Samurai came in, just didn't care. He wanted that My Morphing money.
Yeah,
and it never happened.
But yeah, they didn't connect it particularly well, and I'm not even going to get into the whitewashing of Samurai and stuff like that.
What else we got? Lewis says, what would have been cool if connected Power Ranger Samurai with the Green Samurai? Okay. I am listening. It's just like we say one thing, it goes off. Okay. Platinum Ranger. The best of having the new Green Ranger in the comics is that he's stealing Tommy's thunder. All right. Okay. So this is the thing. I had to speak to Jonny about this. So yes, I think this is true. So I'm even sitting up for this one. Yes, I think that's true, and I don't think JDF likes it.
This is the point where you could bring like pictures onto the stream and be like, "Hey, stream, here is what we're looking at right now," but we've not worked out how to do that yet.
No, not yet.
Story time with Mark.
Yeah. So if everyone like, my theory on this one is, I do think that Jason David Frank doesn't like this at all, and I also kind of think it's because Hasbro aren't giving him information like Saban did, and Bandai aren't focusing on his character quite a bit. Now, with this is JDF put out an Instagram saying like, it's all about the Rangers. I'm going to find it. I'm going to read it, because when I try and explain it, it's not hard, but I'm like, I can't do it. So like, I wasn't going to make this into a video about that, but I have interesting thoughts on it. So, pardon me. JDF turned around and said, "When will Hasbro learn that the originals sell the show? Even with Lord Draken, I paid for the trailer myself, actually own the digital rights to the trailer, but yet they want to change the people in the new book. Very strange swipe up," which is then, is another studio going to screw over the brand? Yes or no? Then he goes on with, "When will Hasbro realize it's not just helmets that sell the show? It's the Rangers, their faces, the people work hard to keep this brand alive, the fan base, you, who made the Power Rangers #1 kids show in the world. All corporations do is count numbers. I don't like corporations. Corporations just think of everyone as a number. Do you agree? Yes or no?" And when I saw this, I generally kind of thought that Hasbro is very... like, they keep everything to everything. A Tommy fanboy was already raging when I told him about the new Green Ranger in the comics. Exactly, and I think this brings down to to points where Hasbro keep things so close. They pretty much think Power Rangers is like Marvel to some degree, or their brand is like Marvel. Like, we've seen this with other YouTubers. You use their stuff like, here is a picture of this Ranger, and then you instantly go, Hasbro goes, all right, flagging that down. Not allowed that. Or if you bring up news beforehand, they try and slowly silence it. But with JDF, I feel that he feels that Hasbro now are turning around and saying, no, we're not going to tell you anything. Where I think Saban would have dropped him a message and said, hey, guess what? We're going to put you into the Ninja Steel crossover. How'd you like that? And he's gone, cool. But then obviously when they've gone like, oh, we want you in this, they're not talking to him that much. Or he could ask questions like, hey, what's going on? And I think Hasbro is saying, no, we don't want you in this. You do sell the brand, but we've got a huge brand that we can focus on. And I think that when you change the Green Ranger, he's like going like, no, this is not right, because the Green Ranger is his bread and butter. It is 100% his bread and butter. But yeah, again, like, if they were to change the White Ranger or the Dino Thunder Ranger, Zeo, Turbo, whatever, I think he wouldn't give a shit. Maybe more with the White Ranger, but I think with the other Rangers, he just wouldn't care, because I've never really seen him promote any other Ranger bar the Green Ranger or the or the White Ranger. Now, he has fans of all ages that have seen him as the Red Turbo, Red Zeo, and also Black Dino Thunder. But yet he never promotes them. So I reckon because they're changing the Green Ranger to some degree, he hates it. Because if, say, for example, you've never watched Power Rangers, you've never seen a clip or know him, and a kid picks up that comic and it's like new Green Ranger revealed, and it's like, oh my god, it's such and such, it's Matt, it's Ricky, it's Richie, it's it's Skull, whoever it is. I think JDF is going to go, oh shit, but that kid's going to be like, that's the Green Ranger. Who's that Green Ranger from the 90s? And they're not going to care. So I think that JDF's like a little bit kind of like worried that the Green Ranger's changing. But I think it's people love the Green Ranger. Now, I don't mind the Green Ranger. I think he's pretty cool at times, but I wouldn't care if someone took him over. Like, or with the other characters, if the Gold Zero Ranger was Cloud from Final Fantasy, I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like that. They've changed it because I know that it's the comic books aren't anything to do with the TV show. But if they were to change it in the TV show, I might say something. But again, I would just be like, well, Austin was this Ranger. If someone else wants the power, cool, it's transferable. Same thing as the Green Ranger. It doesn't really affect me. But even as Platinum said, it's like JDF is a great guy, but sometimes he's just too full of himself. And I agree. Even though, realistically speaking, Dino Thunder Black Ranger was his best persona. It was. I think the Black Dino Thunder Ranger was his best Ranger because it came to full circle. So, yeah. Tommy.
I still don't know how he kept his job after having a fight on the green with the principal.
Yeah. So everyone just doesn't bat an eyelid. It's like, oh, yeah.
In case you didn't know he was a Power Ranger, here's him fighting full-blown against an evil space villain on the front grass with everybody watching. Ciao.
Yeah. And when they all shout, when he shouts out, Black Ranger, and he's like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And everyone's like, we don't care. We just don't care. We just want our diplomas. We want our graduates. Frick it. But if that was in real world, I guarantee that would be all over social media.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, you just pop onto like Facebook and it's just like epic fight at school. Teacher drops principal. Wah-ha!
Can you imagine Bulk and Skull? Like, they don't know, because obviously they know who the Rangers are in space. But then can you imagine, like, just turning on social media and seeing, like, your friend Tommy Oliver has been tagged. Oh my God, guys. Yeah, we've just found out Tommy Oliver's the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. And then they just go, so he was the Green Ranger and the White Ranger. Now the others are as well. Yeah. And then they just go, hey, Jason, just really random question. Yeah, what is it, Skull? Were you the Red Power Ranger? Shit. And that's it. Whole cover's blown because of the aftermath of Tommy just messing things up. Well done, Reefside High.
It's like they turn up for a reunion, Tommy's married to Catherine, and they're just looking at her in pink, and then they're looking at him in freaking in black, and there's like, were you the Pink Ranger?
Yeah. Now all your clothes. But can you imagine, like the insurance companies of Angel Grove turning up at the prom? They're going, hi, we'd like to speak to Jason, Kimberly, Trini, Billy, Zach, Aisha, Adam, Rocky, and Tommy. We've got a lot of receipts here for damages over the years that we've not been able to pin on it. Due to Action 382 of this code, you now have to pay over $10 trillion worth of damages. We went bankrupt because of you guys.
And you teleport the receipts away, and you go, did you really want to do this?
Yeah, and they just go, God damn it, Reefside High. God damn it, Tommy. Why did you have to fight that principal on the street? Why? It doesn't work.
Who do you think would win in a fight? The Beetleborgs or Mystic Knights?
Beetleborgs, hands down.
Hands down? Why?
Because the Mystic Knights would be dead, because they are centuries old when it comes to Beetleborgs, and they're young kids. So far we've seen that the Beetleborgs have some fighting skills. where the Mystic Knights just stand in a field. So if you have a field, I think that they'd be 100% okay on that one. 100% all right.
You
but
really don't like the Mystic Knights fighting, do you?
It was just the same thing. Like I may have to rewatch the entire show, but I just remember most of the times it was a dragon flying about or a monster, and then they would start standing in the field all together shooting at it, and it was just one thing. Like, it's on Netflix, isn't it?
I don't know if it's on Netflix, but I have just literally put a YouTube vid to catch me up with their fighting skills. No, you are 100% accurate. I literally put in Mystic Knight. Oh my god! Oh, those graphics are bad. I just put in Mystic Knights fight, and they are fighting a centaur and saving a baby. And I am using fighting a centaur with inverted commas there because. Oh my days! This is the
See, exactly. Told you. Always in the field.
Yeah, I mean, the way he's holding his sword is very questionable. I forgot they had that little annoying fairy. So, like, we were saying earlier, with all those annoying like little characters and stuff. Mystic Knights had that. Also, if anyone wants to know what video I was just watching, just put that in the Mystic Knights fight into a YouTube search, and it's the top one.
Yeah. Always in the field. Okay, Master says Beetleborgs win because they have B Fighter and B Fighter Cabo stock footage, and then Daniel goes, girl from Beetleborgs changed in season 2. Like, I always wanted to know that. I didn't know if that was due to scheduling.
I absolutely loved how they included that in the TV series.
Yeah, let's just turn around and say magic spell always works. Can you imagine, like, if that wore off at some point in the future, where she looks different and on her ID, and she was like trying to buy like alcohol or something like that, or got stopped by the police for driving, that she just changes mid thing, and the guy goes like, "Oh God, what the hell? You do not look like this. What?" But that's one question I would love to kind of like sit down and go, so why did they change her? Was it due to the fact that she didn't like the show, or actually, is that a thing online? Is that a thing? Like, it was a good way that they did it, where it's just like, here's a magic spell. I think that's the only thing you can do, rather than just tell people like, oh yeah, she changed her face.
Plastic surgery.
Well, not when you're like a 10-year-old. Beetleborg change of red character. I can't remember her name. Weren't you friends with that with the Skullgirl crush that the blue one had?
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was friends with her as well, and we spoke very briefly.
Yeah, because it was Shannon Chandler, and then she was replaced by Brittany Konozerowiecki. I can't pronounce.
Yeah, Joe's change. A unique casting change occurred, and instead of the official departure removing the character Joe from the film cast, when Shannon Carter left the series, her character rewinded half through season 1. Wolfgang, while playing with a magic book, they accidentally cast a spell that changed that caused Joe to change in appearance. Brittany took over Chandler's role in the guise of actually being the original Joe, who with a new look and voice. The contract this is Flabber used his magic to make her look and sound the way she was, or she always had, but it didn't work on everyone who actually watched the spell being cast. So the viewers, Flabber, Drew, Roland, and Joe himself could still see the new Joe in her appearance, but the Hillhurst monsters, as well as their family and friends, saw how she looked before. Damn, okay. But why did she leave the series? Why?
I did not realize that Beetleborgs attended San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, they did. It was the original one as well.
Oh.
It's the same thing, pal. Yeah, no, that's one question. Like, I know they had like the Green Beetleborg. He went to Power MorphCon, and that's the question that I need to ask. Like, that's it. Like, that is my main goal. Is I really want to know. So why did they change? Go for it. Yeah, we've done that one. Beetleborgs have giant robots, so Beetleborgs win. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Mystic Knights would just stand in the field shooting their weapons at a giant thing that was coming.
I can confirm that after just looking that up. I mean, you should message Herbie if you want to ask if he can remember why they left.
Hmm.
I think it's Herbie Baez. I think Baez. Herbie.
Yeah, I'll see if I can message later. Platinum Ranger. Oh no, she became a union actor. There we go. That's the reason. Daniel, thank you for letting me know on that one. That makes 100% perfect sense. So, in case you don't know, Jonny, Saban doesn't like union actors.
No, they don't. I know that. That's why a lot of people couldn't come back for cameos and stuff, because they're like, we're part of the union and you're not willing to do anything for it.
Yeah, we don't want to pay you more money and properly, so you're off the show. Damn it! Although it's highly unlikely, Mystic Knights reference in Dino. Yeah, I think that if they reference Dino, like, I'd be like, if it was set back in the time, I'd be like, if they went, oh, we know that there was some magical stuff in Ireland or in this area, that's where our powers come.
The other day, didn't we?
Yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. I would really like that. But will they? If they did, I'd be very surprised. So now we have to watch every episode of Mystic Knights just in case they drop a name or something. You'll be like, there's a reference right there.
It boils down that then it isn't really a Hasbro thing, is it? That's just to do with the writers. I mean, if you get writers that care about the show, they can do all sorts of things that, generic Hasbro executive one. This script looks amazing and doesn't even look twice at the names of what's referenced and stuff. But the only people that would know is the actor and like the hardcore fans. So quite often the little details, it isn't actually the producer who's like the company. It's just the writer. So going back to like the Samurai series, not referencing Cam or not having like a cameo from Cam from Ninja Storm. That's just the writers being lazy.
Writers be
whereas Beast Morphers with their epic RPM reference, that was the writers really showing that, they do like the show, they do know what they're talking about.
That wasn't the writers who did that. It was Joseph Bischoff, because he had a major influence on that. So he was like, you've got to put this in. I think that was his last thing that he wanted to give the fans. And be like, hey, please put this in. It will absolutely destroy them. And they was right. It destroyed a lot of the fandom. It was that good. So Arcane Master says, fun fact, the San Diego Comic-Con episode, there were varies of Metal Heroes costumes from the series that were never adapted in the US. Which is a shame. Like, we have all this really cool stuff, but we're not going to use it. Lewis goes, Master Rider, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, Mystic Knights could have connected by morphing grid, which I would mind that. As in, like, you wouldn't mind it, or you would mind it if they were like, oh, the morphing grid just gives everyone powers because it's a floozy.
I mean, the morphing grid is the get out of free. They all get their powers from different areas of the morphing grid would be kind of cool. Like, the further down it you venture, the more varied the abilities are. That would be a pretty interesting take on it. Alternatively, they could just be different universes. If you go to Universe 710, you get to the Beetleborgs, and they get their power from the morphing grid, and it's just the morphing grid of a different universe. But interesting.
But right, I think, do we go for a full solid 2 hours, because it's 1 hour 48 minutes at the moment?
I mean, we've got to finish the stream on a 5 or a 10.
A 5 or a 10? Yes, yeah, I know. 5 or 10. Yeah, we'll go to 205 then.
I don't know. 2 hours is fine. Like that's 0-0.
Oh, okay. So it can go to 205 or 210.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20. The drill. It just can't be 57. or 49.
And thanks for your stream time. Cut it
I've
off
got
now.
7 seconds to go just to annoy Matt. Jonny, bye. Woo!
Yeah.
So for the people that are currently watching, if you could create a Power Rangers movie or a movie that involved bringing Masked Rider, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, and Mystic Knights as a reboot through this movie, what would you call the movie?
Rebooting. No, I don't know. I think if it was a Mystic Knights one, I would call it. I would do like the Mystic Knights of Tianognog, and the Ruby Dragon.
That's literally an episode name.
Is it?
The Red Ranger gets the power of the Ruby Red Dragon.
Awesome. I haven't even seen it for a long time. I guess that with a 2 after the end. For Mystic Knights, for Beetleborgs, I would call it Beatles No More. Because they would be like, oh, we don't know if we've got no powers anymore. We don't know if we want to be it. If it was Masked Rider, it would be The Fall of Phoebus. And I would. Oh, okay. So I would have a Power Ranger film to start off with. I would bring Jason David Frank into it, and the Rangers are trying a brand new technology, which sends him to the Phantom Zone, and he stays there forever. And the Beetleborgs, Masked Rider, and
have a party.
No, Mystic Knights all have to come together to figure it out, but it's in each films. So it goes Masked Rider first, then it goes Beetleborgs, and then it gets to VR Troopers. I forgot about them, and it's like, yeah, it's about to, they're like, oh, in the next film, Mystic Knights will they'll finish it off. It gets cancelled, and Tommy stays in the Phantom Zone forever. The long-winded version.
Ernest, what would the Radbug transform into?
Soundwave, Megatron. That's how it would be.
Mirror World. That sounds familiar. I'm not saying that we had a pilot design for something similar, but
Flash.
No. I was thinking to that one we filmed.
Oh, Portal Hunters.
Yeah.
The show that never got up off the ground.
Do you still have the rights to that? Can you still?
Yep. Yes, I do.
I think we need to approach some peeps with that, bro.
It's on the cards. As soon as YouTube comes around, it goes like, "Hey, you can meet up with people from Netflix." I think Masked Rider would be better as a movie franchise, because then you can bring in multiple riders in one movie and have them focus on one main rider. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think you'd have to have the first one as a solo film and say, this is the rider that we're going to focus on for this one, and then the others join in.
Oh no! In my head, for some reason, Radatron's an evil villain, though. It's like, oh no, our Radbug's transformed. I became Radatron. You're never getting back to your time.
I'm going to destroy you, Masked Rider. Megatron will be so happy. A new Power Rangers looking at the Radbug, yeah. But use the use the 3 Metal Hero shows only killed it. I wonder why these shows didn't do really well, because going back to Masked Rider and stuff like that, because maybe the Power Ranger train hyped it, but then you'd think that you'd want more shows like Masked Rider, VR Troopers and stuff. I mean, VR Troopers had a whole concluding arc, and the last episode they got absolutely drunk on. That was fun.
I mean, the issue you have there is you've got two options, don't you? It's like, oh, these are all similar to this, so it should be good. But then you've also got these are a knockoff. They're a wannabe, they're a cheap imitation. can you imagine at Christmas? It's like, oh, I really want the Power Rangers, and your mum's like, I've got you the next best thing, kid. Like, next best thing, son. And it's like, it's a Masked Rider, and it's just like, what? I wanted a Power Ranger.
I would have been happy with Masked Rider stuff because I really enjoyed that series.
It's the same as if like they buy a Power Ranger toy from Poundland.
Dino Fury transform, and it's just Batman.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Here is our superhero squad, and it's like Power Ranger, Batman, Power Ranger, Hulk.
Why? Some guy in the toy's like, yeah, fuck it, he can have it. So Platinum says the reason why Masked Rider wasn't successful as Power Rangers was because they didn't have a choice of characters like they did with Power Rangers. The only they only had one rider until the finale. What was the finale? I don't think I actually saw it.
Say, did they have more than one in the finale?
Did they have like Masked Rider?
Because I know he had different forms, didn't he? He had his water form, his
gold form,
and I think another form.
Season finale. Oh, can't know. A Masked Rider. So the last episode, dear God, it had 40 episodes.
Yeah, it was a full season, wasn't it?
I thought it finished at like episode 13 because that's the last time that they saw it. Detention. Count Dragon sends maggots to implant the brain mite in Dex's mind. It will stab Masked Rider's brain and take control of his arms and legs. Dex can't control himself. Can the powers of Masked Rider crack brain mite before it scrambles his mind? Okay, so that was episode 4. What a really bad episode to have. Like, you should have like the last episode would be either the invasion of Leewood, the Eye of Endor, or exit Nefaria, enter Barbia. So fed up with Nefaria's failures, Count Dragon shrinks herself, transfers her powers to Brenda Stewart, dubbing his new servant something or other. Masked Rider must find a way to break the spell as well as defeat the Lob Station. It feels like they didn't actually finish it off. Like, it's like a continuation. Dex at bat, catatonic, race against time. Damn. I already thought
Showa riders in the last episode. Jeez.
12 in the finale. They butchered the names of the riders. Would you guys like to see more Power Ranger forms like Mmpr Ninja Rangers? I would like to see a little bit more forms, but I think that if it fits in, I wouldn't want them to throw stuff in randomly. I would quite like it if they.
Okay, so Rangers without spandex and helmets, I think, is just reiterated there.
Yeah.
I really like the non-spandex stuff. So like Mmpr when they handed in Jetty. I loved the uniforms that the Space Rangers had. I thought that they would have been cool if they'd been used in fights slightly more. Ninja Storm had their training uniform. They had the effective uniforms they had there. You had SPD that had. I mean, having actual morphed into non-spandex suits might have been cool as well. Like if they did a call like morphed into a non-spandex suit. It's like, which again, I think Ninja Storm touched on slightly because they would be in their normal clothes and then they would rip them off and it would be Ninja Gi.
Yeah, I really like the Ninja Gis. They look really, really cool.
Yeah, I've still got my my red jacket from Hurricane.
Nice.
Not saying that's my favorite season, but
I like Ninja Storm, but I like the Sentai.
I like both.
I need to see this Masked Rider finale. Like, generally, I need to kind of see it.
Do you think so? We're getting close towards the end. Have you noticed that the actor that plays Marvelous in Gokaiger has hinted that he is doing something with Sentai for their 10-year anniversary?
Yes. He said that he would work with it, and they're going to do something. So I was like, yes, this would be really fucking cool if they did. Oh yeah, they did. Like, oh, that Masked Rider. I love the. I love, like, to be fair, I absolutely love any like Power Rangers back in the day, where it'd be a quarry, and it's all really dark, grainy stuff, and then all of a sudden, it's like they switch to a really sunny part of California. It's just like, we're not even there, and they're just like going like, oh my god, I can't believe like all the Masked Riders are there, and there'll be nothing there. They're all just having to say lines. And it's like, this is what Dex was talking about. You're like, oh, God's sake. What else have we got? It was nothing more special than the original about Masked Rider compared to the PR. In Japan, the reason Sentai was so successful, even after Kamen Rider, was the Sentai has something to be different. I kind of agree. In the form of full team heroes rather than 1 to 2, then later a giant robot. I want more battleizers. It was something unique to Power Rangers before Sentai used the Magi Ranger versus Deca Rangers to copy it in the Kaiuja onward. Go Kaija after 10 years, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, they did Hurricane 10 years after, and to be fair, that was really cool.
Yeah, they'll always do that sort of stuff because you know what it means? More keys!
Yeah.
What happens if it was just the Marvelous show? Like all the others just were like, no, I don't want to come back.
They already did the Marvelous show. It was Kamen Rider versus Sentai, and he single-handedly wiped out the Kamen Riders.
True. But what happens if it was just, again, he was just like, I just want to go against Kamen Rider again because they be all bitches. I just love doing this.
Like,
I want
to go up against the legendary Tommy Oliver with his Master Morpher.
Oh, I would love that. I would so like if I was a millionaire, I would ask Jason David Frank, and I would go to. I would say, how much would it cost for you to fight, so we can film Green Ranger or all your forms versus Marvelous, and that's it. And then go to Japan and go, I'll pay you to do this, and you're and it would just be a fight, and I had to write the entire thing.
It would be interesting.
Oh my god, Mark!
Misspelled Gokaiger. I can't believe you misspelled Gokaiger, Ernest. I'm so disappointed in you. Not really. Lewis, I'd love a male Pink Ranger. It would be awesome. However, people would complain about it. People like complaining about everything, Lewis, whether it should be complained about or not. I mean, I think it depends how it's done. But
well, the last biggest thing that they all complained about was, oh my god, the Green Ranger's a girl.
And we will talk about that on another stream.
Because I know I saw one person absolutely get trashed for his opinion on that.
He gets the trash from most of his opinions.
I know, but it was very, very funny.
He was in an American Pie: The Naked Mile. Oh,
yeah.
Fair play.
Hurricane, Deca Ranger, Go Ranger were the ones that had 10 years. Yep. I think that's a trend. But, you know, it's like you think, oh, it's fine. It's like, God damn, 10 years. Oh, God, where?
Can you imagine, like, being in a job? Let's assume that you liked it or you didn't like it. And then 10 years later, when you've moved on, you're happy as Larry at whatever you're doing, they're like, your contract says that we can get you back.
Yeah. Well, no, I think, like, the contract doesn't state that. It says it will ask you back. Because I think they asked someone to come back and they said no. So they just had them morphed or something. I would say it was Gokai Yellow, or no, it wasn't that. She was in a few of the Sentai series.
So yeah, the actress for Gokai Yellow did the voices for a couple of the Space Lupin versus Sentai. She was the pink one.
Yep. Oh my god, the Ranger key set for Gokaiger 10 years after the movie would cost a lot. I think it would cost, like, say, $100. And then I think it would cost, like, after to buy that, would be something like 2, 3, 4, 5 grand, because we know how much the Gokaiji keys go for.
If you're going to do a proper like 10-year anniversary version, you'd obviously have to have an anniversary morpher that comes with it, which would have obviously access to every key ever made.
Yep.
And then like obviously the movie set of keys.
Can you imagine that
complete with chest? Oh my days.
Giant wooden chest, every single key ever made up to the new one, new morpher with every single sound, and a Navi to go with it. That sits on top of the chest. That is detachable or non-detachable.
Make it happen, Mark.
I can't, no, because they'll be like, oh, I'm saving up to go to Japan, or I'm going to PowerMorphCon. I just have enough to buy it. So it's going to be at least 20 grand. There's all my money. No, I reckon at least it will be new keys like these, and that'll be it. And it'll be brand new morpher, and it will have whatever ranges are inside it.
Yeah.
But we are going to leave it there because it's going to go over. And obviously, if you want to finish this on a 5, then we've only got like 20 seconds left. So I want to say thank everyone who joined in on today's stream. It's been good. Lewis quickly says, I would love a new female Red Ranger. Lauren is awesome. However, she is the only good Red Ranger. There needs to be more female Red Rangers. And I think there should be. And I also think, Johnny, it's going to go into 6. I'm so sorry. This is what happens. But I think that when Hasbro takes the split, I reckon you'll see more female Red Rangers, because it's only dictated by Toei, and if it's not in the series, that's it.
Has Toei definitely said that it has to be a male Red Ranger?
Yeah, because if you look at all the series, there has never been, apart from Lauren, as far as I know on my Sentai knowledge, there has never been a female Red Ranger, like the main lead, not in like Gokaiji when they could turn into Red Rangers. There's never been a female lead. So
I will say that Lauren is not the only female Red Ranger. But I'm now curious whether the audience can work out who the other female Red Ranger is.
It doesn't include. It's not including Sentai, like Emma and Gia, is it?
It is not Super Mega Force.
So a female Red. Oh, it's. I know. Is it the SPD?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the only other Red Ranger I can think of.
Straight there, A squad.
Yeah, that's the only person I can think of. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It has been fun. We shall do some more proper ones like this, more kind of like scheduled. I feel like not doing it at 3 a.m. So we'll do some proper schedules. So thank you to everyone. A squad. Oh, yeah. Well, A squad's going to get.
Definitely not a joke. It's just that sometimes trick questions are always the best kind of questions to end on. No. So yeah, we will see you all again on one of the other streams.
I thought that was a Power Ranger reference then. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everyone. If you'd like to subscribe, if you haven't, as well as click that like button, and it'd be all appreciated. Cool. Right. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, guys. And we shall see you later.